Hey, how's it going today? It's the 20th of July, Saturday, and we are taking a look at the market, what kind of opportunities we can find. In today's video, we're gonna be taking a look at our space and what we can find. Just before we do that, I thought it would give better picture and or perhaps worth covering this article that would be Dutch Patriot air defense systems deployed in Lithuania. Let's try to understand it, and from there we're gonna be progressing to aerospace and everything was what is currently happening and where investments have been made and all a lot of things that I need to bring myself up to date and perhaps share that information with others. A total of three Patriot are currently protecting Ukraine. So that's Ukraine, it's not Lithuania, but it might be important. Airspace from Russia, air attacks, two from Germany and one from US. Since if uh, rockets to hit infrastructure, to rebuild this kind of infrastructure, it can be very, very expensive, right? So once that's been said, let's take a look at what's happening within Lithuania. A Dutch Patriot air defense systems has been deployed in Lithuania as part of annual international military exercises Baltic Connection 24. This system is instead of enhance the protection of the country's population and all infrastructure against aircraft, drones, and all missiles. So it's kind of aviation that we're going to be taking a look at within the next couple of articles, but overall, Russia's intensified air attacks on Ukraine cities continue to highlight a growing shortage of sufficient air defense systems, right? As well as we were taking a look at potentially three different plans of where Europe is taking a look at building their own air defense systems. And some of those initiatives, there's so many of those. I was taking a look at Germany, potentially working with US. We were taking a look at France, that has potentially its own ideas, as well as I think there was Poland, this and that we were taking a look at, and there is a lot of different plans, and perhaps that will be overall bigger shield. I think there might be different names of this overall defense systems, but either way. So there are three different plans of how to protect it, and as of now, some of the shortages are being recognized. The air defense battery arrived in Klaipeda, which is a port on Saturday morning and was due to the move to Šiauliai, which is right in the middle of Lithuania. That will be air base from which will carry out tasks for the coming 2 weeks. Lithuania border the Russia ex-leave Kaliningrad, where the Polish government says Russia may have stored around 100 nuclear defense, right? Which is never a good thing. Lithuania offers official describes the deployment of the first step towards practical implementation of rotational air defense model, which was agreed during NATO summit in Vilnius last year. So overall, so the improvements are made. Perhaps let's touch on a couple other things for people to perhaps notice. I don't know if it's covering how many batteries are they looking to deploy, but overall protection and all the infrastructure, that's was something I thought it might be worth highlighting, since to rebuild it, it can be a very costly process, right? According to Lithuanian military, exercise itself will hone readiness to move forces and all force integration, unified command and control, execution of air defense operations. Sweden and Northern Netherlands are among only 7 NATO countries in Europe that field Patriot systems. At other Germany, Greece, Poland, Romania, and Spain, according to the total provided by International Institute of Strategic Studies. The White House announced 2.1 billion military aid package to Ukraine on Wednesday, which includes missiles for Patriot and all other defense systems that U.S. has previously given to Kiev. I don't think it's given. What's that? I don't think there's. I think everyone's keeping track of all these numbers, right? Nothing's been given for free, quote unquote, right? As well as Europe and or Lithuania should consider their own systems. And I would like to highlight the fact that they should focus more on developing their own capabilities instead of asking for those capabilities in return for. We're talking about billions. Do you know how much work that people need to do to earn 2.1 billion? Do you know how easy to blow some of those systems are? So, what's that been said? Let's progress to some of those articles, right? Since we are taking a look at high ticket items, right? So potentially one jet, roughly it depends on the model, the type, and all capabilities, and what can cost, who can build those jets, right? It can be anything from 40 million or plus, depending, right? So what's that been said, high ticket items, so we can take a look at UK Defense Minister to discuss fighter programs with Italy, Japan next week, right? So it's something that was published recently yesterday. Britain's new defense minister will meet with counterparts from Japan and or Italy next week to discuss joint fighter jet program as new Labour government stressed the importance of even in decline of commitment to ahead of defense review. Three countries December signed international treaty to set up new global combat air program, the first major defense industry collaboration and doing this separate next generation fighter jet efforts of the countries. There's a lot of things that I have to mention about this since I have been taking a look at this particular contract. I have a lot of feedback, but let's try to understand the official data. That the program could be opened up to others at the later stages. Italy defense minister said in January with the likes of Saudi Arabia, who had as of now expressed interest to join this program, but who knows, as well as Japan. I don't think they stance are currently neutral, not necessarily purchasing and all working together with other partners when it comes to military contracts, right? That's Japan's neutral stance, so they need to undergo a lot of things, if not right now, in the future. Possible counters of joining the project, right? So Saudi Arabia perhaps is something that they can bring to the table. That will be a lot of finances, right? But there has been speculated that the Britain's Labour Party, which won the July 4th elections, might not commit to the program in the light of review announced this week into its armed forces, which will report back in the first half of 2025. Most likely they will go forward with it. I know it. High ticket items and British economy is not doing that well and it's stagnated. So that would be projected high ticket items for next 10 years or so. So there's no debate there. I don't know what this article thinks that there's a debate there. There isn't one. There's a name that a junior defense minister on Thursday said was really important, but declined to commit to saying that wanted. There's another name for that former NATO Secretary General who is leading the review to be free to consider all options without being pursued towards certain programs. Okay. So interesting. I think either way. I would say most likely they're gonna go ahead with this particular program. Perhaps this program could be done better since it's manned, right? So it's not AI powered jets, right? So a person would need to pilot those jets. So this contract could potentially be better, but more than likely we're gonna go ahead with this, right? Let's take a look at the other contracts. Different article that would be Ukraine rushes to create AI-enabled war drones, right? So smaller as well as unmanned compared to manned contracts, right? So it's a slightly different contract and it's something that was published 2 days ago. Let's take a look at this article that artificial intelligence is being applied in Ukraine's war. There's additional challenges that might come with it, and that would be jamming systems and all communication, quote unquote, as well as cybersecurity. Then we're talking or taking a look at the AI powered, but either way, the technology takes warfare into uncharted territory. In Ukraine, AI being applied to air and or land drones. AI helps drones identify targets, interact with each other, so overall communication. Technology raises new ethical and or security concerns as well as they only take a look at Ukraine, but there's something that's happening in Gaza as well, where percentage should be about 5% collateral, which is as of now it's way higher, or more than 20%. So it is the ethical concerns. But let's take a look at this article and see what we can find. In Ukraine, a handful of startups are deploying artificial intelligence systems to help fly a vast fleet of drones, taking warfare into uncharted territories as combatants race to gain a technological edge in battle. Ukraine hopes a rollout of AI-enabled drones across the front line would help to overcome increasing significant jamming by Russians, as well as enabling unmanned aerial vehicles to work in large groups. AI drone developments in Ukraine broadly split between visualized systems, helping identify targets and fly drones into them, terrain mapping for navigation. I don't know, should I break down? So there's potentially different drones, and the different drones are solving different problems. And within this part, we're looking to identify what drone is and what problem drones can solve, including visual systems, flying, as well as terrain mapping. So there's just different problems that different platforms can solve, and more complex programs enabling UAVs to operate in interaction swarms, right? One company working with swarms, which deploys software that links drones in the network decisions can be implemented intensely across a group, which human only stepping into a green light autonomous strikes. And there's some statements, but I don't know if it's worth bringing more attention to it. It is perhaps it's a good thing, and it might be a bad thing. But if anything, it costs a lot to if any of those systems would land into critical infrastructure, right? So then we're taking a look at this entire article. We're taking a look at the cost, right? So once that's been said, let's progress to and we'll take a look at next articles. Let's take a look at this article, what might be important and where the future might be, and take a look at business. So slightly bigger vehicles is something that we do consider. Taxes. Saudi hands Germany's Lilium biggest order yet to fly taxes. Okay, let's try to understand. I haven't read it before, as well as Germany has its own capabilities to build those. Perhaps Germany has capabilities when it comes to managing some of the systems, not necessarily when it comes to aviation. I don't think perhaps Germany might have it, but I don't know. I'll look into understand it for myself. It's something that was published a couple of days ago. So let's try to understand what's happening. Munich, Germany-based air taxi development Lilium on Thursday clinched its biggest order yet in deal for Saudi airline Saudi Group to purchase up to 100 of its all-electric flying shuttles, which are still in development. Okay, I'm hearing about this for the first time. There's a lot of progress being made, including within UK, which is always great. Germany is making it as well as there's a lot of companies that most people might know of that might be coming from some of those European countries who are managing taxi businesses, right? Without promoting any of those companies, but perhaps that will be where future is gonna be, right? The state-owned airlines made frame order for 50 of Lilium electric vertical takeoff and or landing, or so-called eVTOLs jets with operations for an additional 50 later, Lilium said. So there's an order for 50 and another 50 later, which is kind of interesting, of traveling, as well as I was taking a look at what's happening within UK's market, and seems that there's a lot of, when it comes to standardization, there's a lot of progress being made. So perhaps UK should not overlook this kind of area. The first of its shuttles, which have 4 to 6 seats and are designed to replace road trips or short hops by aircraft or helicopters, are expected to join Saudi's fleet in 2026. A deal signed to took place in Litium's headquarters outside Munich during the trip by Saudi exclusive to Germany. Litium co-founder, there's a name there, told the Reuters this particular news press releases that I'm reading from that value of the whole order, including the options, was about 700 million. Interesting. Would that mean 70 million for every single vehicle? That's the price of it. It seems like a lot, but I can understand how much things need to be taken into account, right? Currently, it has 106 defined orders, including Saudi's, plus 76 optionals and around 600 memorandums of understanding. Lilium CEO was the name there said in event. Since they might have aviation events during which they can potentially make an show what they have, as well as I believe last one that I have seen, there's 6 different governments, and each of those governments have different companies and all projects that they had introduced to the market, right? According to Saudi, it will be used for air shuttles to transport pilgrims between. Okay, there's a different. Let's not get into religion and all those kind of things, and to transport guests to major sporting events in capital. That's the name of the location, right? Just businesses. The only thing that myself I'm interested in. Saudi aims to triple annual passengers numbers to 300 million by end of the decade. Tourism is the main pillar of Saudi Arabia's vision 2030, prolonging programs to investments to diversify the kingdom's economy away from oil, potentially what this particular country is looking to achieve, or perhaps just a handful of people within the country, right? As well as they're looking perhaps invest into the company, not necessarily just to purchase some of the hardware, which might be of interest, as well as they have different infrastructure projects, right? Thanks for watching. See you next one.